Hi, I'm Rob Vanstone and welcome to our latest in a series of historical videos pertaining to the Saskatchewan-Roughriders. Obvious candidate for inclusion in this series, the 2013 Grey Cup game played, however you want to refer to it, at Taylor Field, at Mosaic Stadium. I'm going to call it Taylor Field because I'm just that way. That day there were two Hanks of note in Regina. The Hamilton Tiger Cats quarterback was Smilin' Hank, Henry Burris. And there was somebody named Tom Hanks in attendance at the game.
College ran by real fast because I played so much football.
Never thought Tom Hanks would be at a Canadian Football League game, a Grey Cup game. That morning I got an email from somebody I know in the football industry, and he said, just between you and me, I've heard that Tom Hanks and Martin Short are coming to Regina for the Grey Cup. They're bringing along their sons. Previously, I'd set up an appearance on TSN's pregame show. I was to sit down with Brian Williams and talk about the Grey Cup and preview it. So we're sitting at the panel during a commercial, and Brian Williams turned to me and said, just in case you're interested, Tom Hanks is coming up here. And at that point I said, mind if I stick around afterwards? And he said, yeah, no problem. And sure enough, there's Tom Hanks, there's Martin Short, there's their sons. And they talked to Brian Williams for the national television interview. And the whole time I'm thinking, where do I stand? What do I do? I've got to get this. And we had this, by today's standards, primitive video camera that I was holding and wondering how to operate. And I thought, okay, I'm going to use this thing if I get an opportunity to ask Tom Hanks some questions. It was all about location, location, location. Where do I stand so there's an optimal point at which I can ask Tom Hanks for an interview and hopefully get a couple of questions in. And after he was done with TSN, he took selfies with a bunch of fans working his way down the line, and I'm standing there, and all of a sudden, basically from me to this camera, there's Tom Hanks. And I'd been so fixated on where am I going to stand, I'd never actually thought about what am I going to ask this man. So I pressed play, I asked him for an interview, he said sure. And at that point I drew a complete blank because I'd prepared for everything except the question, thinking about logistics, logistics, logistics. Anyway, here's the video of my encounter with Hollywood royalty Tom Hanks.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Hanks, may I ask you one question, please?
Yeah, sure.
What are your thoughts on being here in Regina for the Grey Cup? How did you...
It's exciting. I came along with my good Canadian friends, and here we are in order to take in everything. The people, the game, the cold, the temperature, the Rider Nation, the Oski Wee Wee, the whole bit. Dream come true.
Did you ever think you'd see a Grey Cup in your lifetime?
I never thought I'd see a Grey Cup in my lifetime. I'm a lucky man.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you. So anyway, you can see what amazing camera work and interviewing skill were exhibited there. Riders have a brilliant first half. They're up 31-6 at halftime against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. After all these years of heartbreak and all these close calls in Grey Cup games, the Roughriders are leading a Grey Cup game commandingly, and it happens to be at home, their first ever appearance in a home Grey Cup game, and the last opportunity they had to play in one at Taylor Field, let alone win one. It's 2nd and 19. The Roughriders call for a running play. If ever there's a situation where you think third down is going to be a punt, it's a running play on 2nd and 19. Corey Sheets ends up rushing for a first down on that play. A great block by Taj Smith to make the difference on the final few yards. Corey Sheets gets a key first down. Riders ended up marching in for a field goal, provided some comfort, but that Corey Sheets run ended up being sort of like the George Reed touchdown run in 1966 that didn't completely cement it, but you sure had the impression at that point that the Roughriders are going to win the Grey Cup. So late in the fourth quarter, I'm now comfortable enough with the outcome to start writing again. I looked up just coincidentally in time to watch Darian Durant throw a touchdown pass to Weston Dressler. Beautiful catch, beautiful throw, and a beautiful photo by our photographer, Brian Schlosser. He had such a nice shot of that touchdown. I just happened to look up, and then I resumed typing. Game ends. I don't remember that final moment. I do remember granting myself about 10 seconds to look around and watch the confetti fly and people going crazy, but I'm now trying to write. You've seen the photo of Darian Durant with the Grey Cup over his head. I never saw the actual Grey Cup presentation. I was too busy writing. Most of the people were on Albert Street partying on the Green Mile. Well, years later I found out that in the midst of all that, thousands of people. Who knows how many people were on the streets of Regina celebrating that Grey Cup victory. In the midst of all that was Darian Durant. After the game, Darian went home, got changed, and decided he wanted to be part of this celebration. He'd worked so long and so hard to engineer such a victory and had overcome so much along the way and silenced the skeptics. And all of a sudden, Darian Durant was a Grey Cup champion and, as a starting quarterback, and a most deserving one. But really unobtrusively, really quietly, he just kind of blended into the crowd, just dressed like any other Rider fan on the Green Mile. And a few people recognized him, and a few people, "Are you really him?" He goes, "Yep, it's me." It was Darian Durant celebrating with the fans along the Green Mile on November 24th, 2013. That's about as quintessential a Canadian football moment as you can get. Thanks so much for being with us for this latest video tribute to Rough Rider history. If you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, please feel free to do so. If you click on the little bell insignia, it'll provide you with notifications the next time a video is posted. Thanks for being with us and sharing these memories. Take care.